A Peorian again putting his hat in the ring for city council after narrowly missing out on an at-large bid last year. Andre Allen announced today that he will run for Peoria's 4th District Council seat in 2021. And he joins us now live via Zoom to talk about it. Andre, thank you so much for joining us. I appreciate it. You narrowly were out of the 2019 race for an at-large by less than 1%. Did you know then that you were going to run again, and why are you choosing to do so now?
You know, at that time, as anybody that's ran for an elected office, you put so much time, effort, and energy into that race. I mean, that was a gauntlet of a race when you figure the amount of candidates that were vying for those 5 seats, but always believe that competition breeds excellence. And so after the race concluded, I just took some time to reflect. I talked to my wife. I talked to some other people that I considered mentors in the community, and I knew at some point I wanted to get back in the competition to go for another Peoria City Council seat.
You know, Peoria, like most of the world, has changed since you last ran. The city says that COVID-19 has placed it in a tight bind. Can you briefly explain your platform and how, if at all, it's any different from the last time you ran for office, given the changes in our communities?
Well, yeah, definitely. Last time I ran, it was an at-large seat. And so when you're running an at-large platform, you have to think of city issues, which, with this particular race, this is a district race. So my campaign slogan, if you will, is being district focused while made in a citywide perspective. And so we will be addressing the issues that are plaguing the citizens of District 4, but while also having that citywide perspective. And so I think that'll be the biggest difference from that particular election. My D4 platform is based off of the following 4 pillars, and that's neighborhoods and infrastructure, that's developing businesses, public safety, and then quality of life. And so definitely a little bit differently from our at-large race. Definitely staying focused and working to grow District 4 to be the best district that it can be.
You know, tough decisions have always been a part of the job for elected officials, but in times like these, I think people want to know your approach and where people stand. So just recently, the city agreed to cut firefighter positions by 1 vote, which happened to be a flip from just a week earlier. I'm sure you watched and followed that. Where would you have stood in that discussion?
You know, right now, the city is at a crossroad, and the current administration, like I said in my announcement earlier, is really having to make some tough decisions. And I don't fault any of them for doing that because, again, these are uncharted waters that we're in when you given the previous financial state of the city, even before COVID-19. But in that particular case, I would not have voted to cut those 2 fire engines. I think right now, what we need right now is maintaining our basic city services. And I would have wanted to explore some other options. And I think some things that have been presented to the council, the potential referendum that is potentially might be on the ballot in the spring to get some contingency or constituent feedback, some particular options. But I would have loved to send some additional options. I wouldn't have voted in favor of that.
All right. Well, I'm sure, as many people are predicting, there will be plenty other moments in which decisions are going to have to be made because of the long-term impact of COVID-19. So it'll be interesting as we go through this to kind of sift through what people will and will not do. As always, Andre Allen, we appreciate your time running for Peoria's 4th District Council seat.
Thank you so much, Eugene. Thanks for having me.
Absolutely.